Good morning. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us for another edition of the Morning Breeze, man. Always rocking with you guys, as always, man. Outside of me, I got my guy, Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC, in the building. And now we get to pivot because the NBA is officially back. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love, man. We got basketball again, JC.
We got basketball, baby.
I missed basketball. I'm not gonna lie to you, dog. I missed the NBA.
Yeah.
I've been it's been a tough few months of just straight Bears football, because not to say I don't enjoy talking Bears football, but it's literally at a certain point you just start going like, all right, how many ways can I attack this story? And you need that other element in there to talk about. So we got NBA Media Day yesterday. I thought NBA Media Day was we got some good storylines out of it, some interesting names brought up. Got to hear from around the league. First off, got to see the first bit of Klay Thompson in a Mavs jersey, which was wild.
Yeah. Feels
wild.
Weird. Feels weird.
It was weird to see. And he was like, I just felt like I needed a change. I just felt like I needed something a little bit different. But we also got to hear from our own Chicago Bulls. I don't know if you saw the picture of the Bulls that I tweeted out with just Zach LaVine and freaking Nikola Vucevic looking despondent.
I saw that pic.
Snap this from the side. Who snapped this picture? Because this is exactly how I feel about this Chicago Bears upcoming season. Chicago Bulls upcoming season. It all applies. But the Chicago Bulls Media Day was yesterday. And listen, at the end of the day, the team is very different. We got to hear from Josh Giddey, of course, getting to hear from Zach LaVine. And dare I say, let's start it there. When we heard from Zach LaVine, dare I say, the thing that I left Zach LaVine's Media Day feeling, the Media Day press conference feeling, was that Zach LaVine has accepted the fact that his value that he has on himself is not where the league has his value right now. And because of that, he's got to build that value back up. And he's willing to do whatever it takes to build that value back up. If it means being that off-ball guy, if it means being the other guy, if it means being the guy who can, who I think will benefit from being next to Josh Giddey. Who we also got to talk about that as well. That's a whole different situation right there. But what was your takeaway from what we heard from Zach LaVine?
It's funny you said he's accepted his role. It's almost like you're saying he's accepted defeat, knowing that he's not as valuable as he thought he was.
I don't know if it's accepting defeat, because it's like, listen, like, here's the thing: Zach LaVine with Josh Giddey playing in the role that he's probably going to be playing, probably is still a 25+ point per game player if he's healthy.
Absolutely.
So the value will still be there. So it's not like Zach is taking this massive hit. Like, I think him being I think him being that off-ball guy will be fine, right? Him being the guy who lets Giddey have the ball in his hands more will work out just fine for the Bulls. But I do think that you have to have that conversation on how accepting is he of that role? How accepting is he going to be of that role? And at least right now, with the words that he's saying, he's accepting it.
I'll put it like this. I feel like I came away thinking that Zach LaVine said all of the right things. I'll wait to kind of put any stock in his words, because in my opinion, I've seen this show before to a certain extent, where Zach LaVine went to Team USA and he implemented himself as more of a defensive player on the team. He wasn't the go-to guy, clearly, on a team full of all-stars and superstars, and so he played his role perfectly. He said he would bring that same mentality back to the Bulls, where he was going to start playing defense. You saw that in the first couple of games, I believe, where he was that guy on both ends of the floor.
Oh yeah, he was doing everything he needed to do.
And then it turned right back around to old Zach LaVine, baby. So I say that to say, okay, yeah, it sounds good. You do like the fact that he said, he took the time of this offseason to really, mull things over. It's giving him time to think. He loves the people that he has around him that has allowed him to kind of mature and just keep things and put things in perspective. He said, we're trying to crowd out all the noise, all the false narratives. This issue between me and the organization, that's in the past. He said, if there's anything that needs to get fixed, or you hear it from me, or you hear it from my team, or you hear it from the organization, like everything else is just nothing at this point. And so you like that he's playing nice. You like, okay, maybe the relationship with Billy is repaired, the relationship with the organization is repaired, and he understands, hey, this is where I'm going to be, and so I have to do what I have to do to either be a mentor in a sense at this point, and not come in thinking that I'm going to be the guy, because this is going to be more of an open team ball type of concept with this team, with all these young players coming in, and he's got to fill a role now at this time.
Yeah, I think here's the thing with Zach for me that can still be very beneficial to the Chicago Bulls, right? Can still be very can still put the Bulls in a good position this year. And what may make it tough, right? At the end of the year, what may make it tough at the end of the day for this team, because you probably still are gonna have to move them, right? Like I don't know if the relationships are all
Eventually.
fixed. I don't know if the relationships are all in the right direction, but I do think there's going to be a little bit of a boost to start this season. I do think there's going to be a little bit of cohesiveness to start this season. I think that Zach LaVine with Josh Giddey playing that off-ball role is perfect. I think that if Kobe White can become that guy that everybody thinks he can become, that can continue to develop and stay off, P kids, I hate this kid radar, because kids quick to turn on him.
Oh my God.
He was back in on him last season. He's quick to turn on him again.
Yeah.
But if he can stay off of that radar, like that is one of those things where, dare I say, I left media day yesterday going, I can see how this team is good. I don't think that they'll be very good. I think that they'll be a mediocre competitive team. 30, I think I said I got the Bulls at 36 wins. I think that they'll be
That's
very.
not good.
Oh no, not at all. I think they'll be a play-in team, or competing for that last play-in spot, I should say. I don't think that the Bulls got dramatically better. I think defensively they are going to be horrible.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, oh,
yeah, I think, yeah, that's all I got for that. Yeah, I think the defense is going to be kind of putrid. I'm gonna be honest with you. Here's where I see them improving. If they can get to a point where they imitate or kind of mirror the Indiana Pacers, because if we're going to put a comparison to this team, a young team that is good in pace, you heard AK say our emphasis is going to be on trying to be a more fast-paced, energetic, tough team. That's in the mode of an Indiana Pacers team where they're not necessarily the best on defense, but they will stay with you on offense. They will put in a bunch of points. They're going to run and gun. They're led by a really good point guard that gets everybody involved. I mean, that's kind of the mode that we're going for. Josh Giddey is somebody who is a tall point guard that can do it all, that will continue to be on the break. And even when you heard Josh Giddey speak, he said that him, Matas, and I believe Zach talked about playing up tempo. And he mentioned that we started scrimmaging with 14-second shot clocks to emphasize the pace we want to play. Once it becomes a habit, this team's going to be scary in the open court. And so
yeah.
that's the kind of play that they want to emphasize. We've heard it before. We've heard Billy Donovan claim, oh, they want to play fast pace in the past. We've heard AK claim that they want to play fast pace in the past, fast pace in the past. Well, that's a mouthful. But,
What now?
whoa.
Ooh.
I did say mouthful, but whoa. All right. Anyway, I think that this is the year where they actually mean it. They have the roster, they have the youth to actually kind of back up that statement. And so we'll see how that go how we go about that.
I think what's tough with that is, where does that leave Vooch? That was my biggest question.
Vooch ain't running for nothing.
I heard all of that. I was like, okay, up tempo, like that. Here we go. Vooch is your starting center. He can't run. You know what I mean?
I don't think he
He
can't,
can't
and nor
run.
does he want to at this point.
What right? Like it's not his game. So how do you implement Vooch into that style of offense? Are you telling me that Vooch is going to be coming off of the bench? Now we did hear from Jalen Smith that Jalen Smith was told that he would have the opportunity to compete for the starting job
All
on this
right now,
team. Dare I
okay,
say, I think that Vooch is committed enough to the Chicago Bulls because listen, he came back, he wanted to be here, got the deal done, got his money, whatever. I think that
right.
Vooch is committed enough to being a part of this team that he's the one player that I do think you could go to and be like, hey, we want to bring you off of the bench. We think you'll be more beneficial to stabilizing the bench. We think you'll be more beneficial to being the leading guy off of that bench. Maybe not the sixth man, but that guy that when we bring in that full bench unit, you stabilize those young guys out there, and you get to just be Vooch out there. I think that you could have that conversation with Vooch, but the conversation you can't have is that the Chicago Bulls will be a up-tempo team with Nikola Vucevic as the trailer because he doesn't shoot the three ball well enough. That's how those teams that have those high tempo, because everybody's like, well, the Sixers do it and the Nuggets do it. Why do they run high tempo? Because Jokic can shoot 30, what is Jokic? 38% from three.
Oh yeah, Jokic
Uh
is like a big point guard as well.
well, that too, but I'm saying like when they push the tempo, Jokic last season shot 35%. He was a little bit down. Season before, he was 38%. Jokic has been back and forth his whole career. Jokic, dog, 33, 32, 39, 30, 31, 38, 33, 38, 35. Jokic,
He's
you all
about
over the place,
mid
bro.
30s. Yeah,
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 he's mid 30s though. But like you have to have that big, right? Joel Embiid is the other one. He's kind of slow, but they can be up tempo.
yeah.
Um, Joel Embiid can knock down a three ball. You know what I mean? He's somebody who is sitting at last season 38%. He's been around a 37, 38% shooter for most of his career. I think that is something that you can utilize when you have that up tempo kind of speed with a slower big man. We don't have that. Vooch is 34%. He's not knocking that three down at a high clip. And so I think that you could go full youth movement in this starting lineup with Zach LaVine if you wanted to, with Jalen Smith running the floor, but that's the only way that high tempo 14-second shot clock works for me.
But is that the conversation you're going to have? Like at this point, it's really all about buying into the youth movement. I think we're done with the three-headed monster of obviously DeMar's gone. Alex Caruso is gone. He's gone to OKC. So you have some of the older vets already out the door. Zach is essentially the last of that, along with I mean, I'm sorry, Vooch is the last of that, along with Zach being on that cusp as well. So I believe like he should be coming off the bench at this point. He's a guy that should back up the youth. Jalen Smith is a guy that's high energy, will get you rebounds. He can do some of the same things that Vooch can do as far as shooting the ball. I believe he's just a better roster fit for this starting lineup. If they want to play fast pace, you're talking about getting into your offense 14 seconds in, like Vooch is Vooch is going to be worn out by half first
Yeah.
quarter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's not going to work with him. So I feel like there's a conversation where he has to be realistic and say, hey, maybe I do need to take a step back and let these young guys run.
Yeah, but I mean, nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to go, hey, I'm gonna get my job up. You know what I mean? So,
Amen.
and I don't think Vooch would be opposed to it just because I think that there is I think you could have the conversation. I'm not gonna say you wouldn't be opposed to it. I think you can have the conversation just because there is there's probably an element where if you want to slow things down, if you want to bring him off of the bench, if you want to let him kind of have a go at it, go down in the post and dominate real quick with the young guys, with a Dalen Terry and a Modest Bucilis and like you got these guys out there with you that can help you out and shoot from the perimeter, stuff like that. Shoot from the perimeter. Dalen Terry.
Yeah, I was about to
Uh,
say.
I love DT dog, but like every year I'm just like, what's he doing here? Like,
I
what
mean,
are we waiting on with
he's
him?
shown some promise. I mean, he
What?
definitely impressed me the one year where I thought he was out of rotation, and when he came back in, he showed himself to be really good on defense. I mean, he's long, he's athletic. That's where he's kind of his calling card is. Kind of like in the mode of Jimmy Butler in the first couple of years, where you knew that's all he was giving on when he got on the floor. You're not relying on him for offense.
Yeah, but Jimmy Butler was shutting people down.
That is true.
They like, no, dog, we not saying just like Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler got
I'm
on the
just saying,
floor and we was like,
but early Jimmy Butler, like early youth,
even early Jimmy
still
Butler.
trying to figure things out.
Hey, what was that? What was that? Year 2, Jimmy Butler was sitting there fighting with LeBron
Fighting with
on the
Carmelo
floor.
Anthony, yeah.
You know what I
He
mean?
was
Like,
going,
no,
yeah, he
like
was
that's
going up
not at
against some
all,
of the best.
dog.
I tried to make it work. I tried to
You know,
make
you
it
kind of like
work.
Jimmy Butler. No, he's like James Butless.
What is that?
Who's
like the
that? We don't know.
doppelganger? Is that the doppelganger of Jimmy
Yeah,
Butler?
who's that? We don't know.
James Butler. Okay.
James Butless. That's who that mug is.
Oh my
But no,
God.
I think that here's my thing with where the Bulls are heading, and kind of my takeaway from media day is there are going to be some shakeups, there are going to be some changes.
Oh
Dare
yeah.
I say, you may still be in a position where you end up trading Zach LaVine away. If you can build up some of that value, and teams are going to get needy. Dare I say, you may be in that position with Vooch. And here's what the other question that I had coming out of yesterday was: if you had to pick one to move, I know everybody's ready to move on from Zach LaVine and all of that, but let's say Zach buys into the role. If you had to pick one to move, are you moving on from Zach, or are you moving on from Vooch?
I'm moving on from Vooch. That's not even a question. One is bought into the fact that his role is not going to be. He doesn't need to be the guy, and he's going to step out of the way of the
We'll see.
development.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
we will see. Because
We'll
I
see.
still don't buy that yet. But what he's saying, it sounds good. But I feel like he's okay with seeing the development of the other players, seeing Kobe White take a step forward, especially with an actual pure point guard next to him now. Feel like Kobe is going to take off with just doing what he does best, which is score at all three levels. So Vooch, I feel like, is at a point where, hey, you just gotta, give him up for whatever it is that you can get back. And he's just not spry enough to keep up with the team like this.
Well, I think here's the thing. I think Vooch will have tremendous value. I think that he's a player who
Sure,
that everyone wants at the deadline. How many
sure.
deadlines have we gone into where everybody's like, what the Lakers really could use right now? A big who can
Big.
dominate
Yeah,
down low and has a good
yeah.
basketball IQ and can facilitate the basketball. Every single year, the Lakers are looking for Vooch. Like every year, they're looking for that guy. So I don't think that it would be difficult to move Vooch. I think that you could actually get some good value back for him. Maybe I don't know about good, surprising value back for him. But
I
I
like
think that
surprising. It's a good word. Yeah.
you're still at a crossroads here as you head into this season. You're still at you're still looking at a situation where the Chicago Bulls are trying to pivot away from what they once had, but couldn't pivot off of all of the pieces in the offseason. We know if they could, they would have, right?
Yeah.
And now you're to a point where you're going to have to make some tough decisions. I think if the Zach LaVine thing is working out, you're not going to move on from Zach LaVine. Like you would rather hold on to him, but it also depends on if Zach is happy with this team. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That's really what it comes down to. It also depends on if Zach wants to be a Chicago Bull. I hear, when you say you hear him saying all the right things, that's what I hear every time he goes, every time I put on this Bulls jersey, I do it with pride. So yeah, that's the right thing to say. And I'm not saying that you don't, but I think you would rather be putting on a Laker jersey right
He's
now.
a professional. He's going to be very professional. He shows professionalism.
And I give him credit for that, because behind the scenes, behind closed doors, listen, as irritated as we are with this front office on the side that we sit on, imagine if you had to sit in a room with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like all the decisions that are made where you're like, that don't really make sense. Imagine if those decisions are being made around you. Like that's why I give him credit for being the professional that he is, because we sit out here and we ready to flip tables at AK, and friggin' we don't even see AK. By the way, AK, just stop talking, bro. We don't care
Saying
anymore.
the same things
We
over and
don't
over.
care anymore.
Yeah.
Every single press conference, bro, is just yes, we're going to compete,
You got the
and
voice.
we are ready to go out there and fight. and we come every year, and we're ready to go. We are not giving up. We will not. We will not. Run
he don't
away.
repeat. Uh,
We will
uh,
not.
uh, uh.
We,
Oh my
we
god.
don't need to hear it no more, dog. Just stop talking, and don't send Mark Eversley either. Where's Paxton is still in the building? Send me John Paxton.
You want Paxton again? Ain't
Yes,
not bad at guy.
Paxton used to talk with
Oh my god.
because Gar Forman was so bad at it, and you would at least you wouldn't want to hear what Pax had to say, but at least Pax could communicate it to you, dog. Like, bro, I'm
That's
sick of hearing the same thing every single year. Bro, he getting them bro. He getting them like a
I
mug,
guess,
dog.
bro. Okay, all right. I gotta compose myself. I had a question. I had one last question I wanted to pose to you because
What's good?
out of all the, because I mean, we built a very young roster and we actually brought a lot of players that honestly I wanted years ago. You got your Taylor Horton Tuckers on this team. You got EJ Liddell. You
Yeah,
you 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 got all type of
it's
players
all
that,
the dudes me and Hayes said draft.
yeah, just like they finally brought them all back here. But there is one name. But I was just going to ask you, who do you think out of the names at the bottom of the roster could impact this team and could make the team? Like, is there a name that stands out?
At
Maybe a
the
Kenneth
bottom of the
Lofton, Kenny
roster.
Lofton Jr.
I think Kenny Lofton Jr. could make it because we know Billy loves an undersized big.
Yeah,
Um,
he's 6'6".
he
God,
loves
he's
he
six
loves a guy he
six.
can throw out there that's gonna get dominated against other big men, and to throw him out there. Out of the three names on the, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know. I think that a lot of these names were brought in to light a fire under the guys you have here. I
Okay.
think that these names were brought in to light a fire under Dalen Terry. I think that these names were brought in to light a fire under um not really Modest Bucilis because he's
I don't
already
think
been here.
Dalen needs a fire lit under him. He just needs to get more talented. That's all.
Well, that's the problem. You know what I mean? I got to bring guys in so that you can show me that you're talented because it don't look good at times.
Well,
Um,
I put it to you like this, Pat. Now, the one name that I do want to see make this team that I think will have more of an impact than the others is Chris Duarte. I feel like Chris Duarte started off
Chris
his
Duarte, nice
career.
little 3 and D.
I feel like 3 and D is somebody that we really need outside of Patrick Williams. Patrick Williams is
Yeah,
dealing with the ouchies every year. I feel like Chris Duarte is that guy who is a tough 3 and D player that really was good, had a good trajectory, started with Indiana, and then when he went to Sacramento, kind of fell off, kind of just got lost in the roster.
yeah.
But he's a guy who I think is a reliable, a consistent shooter that you need on the team.
Yeah, when Chris Duarte was getting minutes, he was a 13 point per game player his rookie year. He's
I'll
like you
take it.
said, he's consistently falling off every season. I mean, like the problem with Duarte is not the fact that the defense has fallen off. The problem is the three has fallen off. I mean, every year his three ball has gotten just worse and worse, and you gotta. I mean, at a certain point, you gotta find something to be consistent with. I can't sit here and tell you that working with the Bulls trainers is going to turn him into a 3-point shooter because we don't have any.
We have never seen it. We've
We
never
don't
seen it
have any.
happen.
We've got one 3-point shooter, and we're trying to trade him. Well, we got two. We got Kobe,
Hey,
but
Coach.
your bottom of the roster guys that could make it: Lofton, Liddell, Duarte, Horton, Tucker.
Throw a team in there probably. I don't
A
know.
team in there probably.
DJ Stewart. I like that name, DJ Stewart.
I would like to see it. Here's the thing. What I would like to see is the guys we already have pan out. I would
Okay,
love to see
all right.
Onur Albateam pan out.
I
You know
do
what I
like the
mean?
Unruh.
Because
Like Unruh.
he's a guy that can shoot the three ball. He's a guy that can get to the bucket. He's a guy that can do a little facilitating, not a crazy amount, but do a little
Yeah,
facilitating, right? Like I think that would be more beneficial to the Bulls in the long run. A guy like Adama Sanogo, who you need big man help. Adama every time he gets in there
I do like Sinogo.
can ball. Like I don't know. I've been telling people this for what 2 seasons now that this young man he just knows his role. He reminds
Yeah,
me of not as athletic, but he reminds me of a Taj Gibson type of player where he just came into the league and he was just like, yeah, I'm gonna grab this board and then I'm gonna move and then I'm gonna put it back up
like
and
a
it's gonna
Clint
go in.
Capella type. Yeah.
No, because he don't jump that high.
No, no, yeah, you're
He
right.
don't run the floor.
He
He
doesn't
doesn't
have the
run the floor and
springs.
doesn't jump that high like Clint Capella. What
Yeah,
I'm saying
you're
is
right.
a guy that just knows what he is.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? Like that's what he is to me. And with this team, you're gonna need big man help. So I would like to see one of those guys that you brought in be the main guy, be the main piece that you end up having making the team. But listen, if EJ Liddell was a guy that I wanted the Chicago Bulls to draft. If he's able to come through
man.
and ball out, if he's able to, I thought that EJ Liddell was that power forward that the Chicago Bulls needed, that Patrick Williams replacement, or the guy that you can move P. Will to the 3-4. I would
Yeah,
love to see EJ Liddell bounce back. The problem is, right, got into the league, immediately tore his ACL,
yeah, that was
and
unfortunate.
just was not able to bounce back. But I mean, he's still very young, 23 years old for EJ Liddell, somebody who I think in college, I thought that he would have a massive impact at the NBA level and just hasn't been able to do it. So we'll see what ends up happening. K File said the team is actually decent. Somehow Billy don't like him. It's not that Billy don't like him. Men tore his retina last year
Yeah, yeah, that will definitely put you out.
and was just dealing with it, just like
Yeah,
couldn't see.
yeah,
Just like, I got a little something in my eye. It was like, not your retina. That's the problem. I got.
Jesus.
But no, man. If anybody outside of that, yeah, THT is who he is to me. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if the ship has sailed on THT, but I have enough dudes that can operate in the mid range to the bucket area. I got Io DeSumo. I got Torrey Craig. I got
That's a good point. Yeah,
you know what I mean. I got that guy already.
yeah, yeah.
That's the problem. A lot of the guys you brought in, like EJ Liddell, I don't remember what he shot from the three in college. Uh, but I can look it up real quick. From three, he was
The
34%.
Iowa State.
That would have to improve. It didn't even attempt a ton of threes. He was basically one for four. 37% his final year. Okay,
That's not bad.
37% his junior year. Not bad. That would have to be the thing that I think would set them all apart. Because, by the way, he was 19 points per game in college, 8 rebounds a game, which is why I really wanted him.
You was
Added
smoking
a
it.
little bit of that 3-point shot, almost shot 50% from the field. That's going to be what sets those guys apart, because it's got to be somebody who doesn't just operate in the middle of the court. Kenny Lofton kind of does. Taylor Horton Tucker kind of does. Adama Sanogo does, but the Bulls drafted him or signed him, right? So, like, I think that there's a little bit of he was an unsigned draft pick for the Bulls, basically. I think there's a little bit of that plays into this as well. So, there's going to be your favorites. There's going to be the guys that AK picked that are going to get some preferential treatment. Adama Sanogo, he's still on a G League deal, a two-way deal. So he's going to be up and down. You're going to
Yeah,
have to clear a roster spot to keep one of these guys, even because you just don't have the space for them right now. And who's that going to be? I think that's why I said it could light a fire under some of these guys, because it could be a Dalen Terry. It could be maybe not a Julian Phillips yet, but like it could be a Julian
I
Phillips.
like Julian over Dalen.
These
I'm
are
gonna be
these are
honest with
second
you.
round
I like
picks.
Julian. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Dalen's not. Dalen's a first round pick, which I still don't get that, but teach their own. But hey,
No,
man,
but
appreciate y'all for tuning
like,
in, showing love. What you was gonna say, though?
no, you're spot on. I mean, we love to talk Bulls coming up more often. I think this is a season where we're clearly not going to expect a whole lot as far as wins, but we want to see the development. We
Yeah,
clearly have a team that we want to see who's going to kind of come out on top. So you love to see the competition level increase with some of these guys at the bottom of the roster and see who just comes out on top. Looking
No,
for
100%.
Mates Buzelis to be that guy soon
That's
too.
what I want. Out of anything, I could care less about all of these guys. Did the Bulls find a diamond in the rough in Modest Buzelis? Buzelis?
I don't know.
Buzuzu. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. We're going to get up out of here, man. We will be back at 5 today for the daily show. Hit that like button, like I said. Y'all stay safe out of Chicago. For Jordan JC, Mr. Medium Selfish, your boy Pat the Designer. Back at it again. Bear down. One love. See red. Peace. White Sox suck.
Bro, I mean, hey. I didn't want to necessarily, make you feel bad, but goodness gracious.
Are we doing that? That's what we're doing.
I didn't want to bring it up, but I mean, you said it. Hey, worst record, baby.
Worst record in baseball history. I like how C-Dub was like, they're one of the worst teams. I was like, no, not one of.
No.
Can't say one of. The worst team.
Oh, boy.
And did it with the Tigers, too.
Oh, boy.
I'm tired of this. Soda P said, Pat, Javon Carter will have a breakout year. I don't know who Javon Carter is, but Leroy Carter will not.
Javon Carter will have a breakout year. What? No. He won't even get minutes.
No.
He won't even get minutes. He was an undersized shooting guard, point guard. No, we good. He was found out.